One of the earliest lessons I taught my students in the 1980s is that personal growth is a matter of growing down, not up. Here's what I mean. The Apostle Paul wrote about himself in 1 Corinthians 15 that he was the least of all the apostles. Paul's view was that he stood lower in leadership than those who walked with Jesus. 1 Corinthians was written around AD 55. Then in Ephesians 3, Paul wrote that he was the least of all the saints. A few years earlier, he was comparing himself to church leadership. Now Paul was comparing himself to all Christians. He did not think that he was better than anyone else. Ephesians was written around AD 62. Finally, in 1 Timothy 1, just before Paul was killed for his faith, he said, "Jesus came into the world to save sinners, of whom I am the foremost." Paul is saying all people, believers and unbelievers, sinners all, can stand in line behind him because he is the worst of sinners. 1 Timothy was written about AD 64. The timeline goes from AD 55 to 62 to 64. Paul's estimation of himself decreased over time. Paul no longer ranked himself with apostles or Christians, but with all sinners, he being the worst. From the earliest days of my teaching, I think about how, as a Christian, my personal growth is down toward humility. I stand with Paul, grateful for the mercy found in the payment for my sin through Jesus' sacrifice. But then I think about Paul's worst of sinners comment about himself, and I want to add, Paul, you can get in line behind me. For Truth in Two, this is Dr. Mark Eckel, president of the Comenius Institute, personally seeking truth wherever it's found.